Not that what we're doing is wrong. Let's try to keep this here secret between me, you, and this song. Menage a trois that sings to me sinfully, and God plays along.
What you want with a woman who won't do what she says.
I was sweet on her, she was sweet on Jesus.
My name is Sage Francis, independent hip-hop artist, spoken word poet, writer, agent provocateur, all-around badass, world traveler, you know, in South Africa doing it up.
No, you read me all wrong, fellow. You need to do your research. An MC with a 4-song demo when you got t-shirt.
I was always scared to be trapped in the boom bap box of the old school sounding box, because that wasn't me. As much as I love that, I wanted to pay homage to it, but I didn't want to be trapped in that sound. And like, if I deviated from it 2 albums later, people would bitch about it. Like, that's, you know, this is wrong. This is not the way you're supposed to sound. So right away, I wanted to like make the deviation and be like, it's not always going to be like this here. You know, these are other styles. These are other things that I'm into that I think work with my particular style. I do want to have the freedom to be able to make other types of shit when I feel like it.
Go away, be extinct, disappear. Go away, be extinct, disappear.
Yeah, well, Copper Gone came out in June of 2014. I'm still touring on it. Copper Gone was a step back toward a more traditional sound for a lot of the songs, because the Life record was so left field and totally non-typical as far as what hip-hop's supposed to sound like. A good amount of people supported it, but I did see a dip in the support base as far as show attendance, album sales, and that hurt in a lot of ways. But fuck it, I mean, that's not why I make records, but I did want to have a record that showed that I hadn't totally abandoned what my typical sound is, you know? I collect beats, people send me stuff. If it strikes me in a particular way, I'll ask them to be patient with me until I find a project that it'll work on. So on the Copper Gone record, there are beats that I had been sitting on for like 10 years. Yeah, and then, I mean, if we're lucky enough, they're still available when it's time to record the record. There's producers from Sweden, France, America, Canada, Australia, all over the place. To make it all tie in, obviously, me being the only vocalist on the record, that gives it a consistent sound. But Alias mixed it in a way that I think gave it cohesion, tied it all together in a good way. Whoa. Well, yeah, the first time I came to South Africa was 2011. That was thanks to Ewok, he's from Durban, and he included me on this, a type of program that we were helping out orphans who had HIV, who didn't really have great exposure to, or great access to medical help. Not that we were providing that, but we were trying to figure out how to help. So I stayed for 2 weeks and worked with them and became more acquainted with what's happening here, which is, it was kind of a big surprise to me. I never really knew all that much about South Africa. Our exposure to it is just apartheid and, you know, Nelson Mandela, that was it. And then to come here and learn so much more about it, I kind of fell in love with it a bit, and I wanted to return ever since then. I never had the opportunity. I kept asking, like, how do I get shows booked out there? You know, I know I have fans in Joburg, I got fans in Cape Town. I always hear from them, like, who are the promoters? Let's work this out. And not until 2015 did anyone respond. And it wasn't even until after I booked my flights. Because I waited. I was like, listen, I'm on my world tour. I have a good break in August. I'm coming to South Africa. If you want to do shows with me, this is the time. And that's what it took. Once I booked the flights, then I was like, all right, then the Durban show got booked, the Johannesburg show got booked, and the Cape Town show got booked. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
It's been a long and lonely trip, but I'm glad I took it. It was well worth it. Got to read a couple books and do some research before I reached my verdict. Never thought I was perfect. Always thought I had a purpose. I used to wonder if I'd live
Yeah,
to see
it was
my
great.
worst.
I had no expectations. I went in there not really even knowing, you know, if they had their shit together enough to promote it to people who weren't on Facebook. That's always my fear these days. It's like promoters rely so heavily on Facebook and Twitter that it's like most people aren't living their lives on the internet. I mean, contrary to popular belief, people have work and families and, you know, and I know they're fans of mine who would like to come to a show and they don't find out until a month or 2 months after the show. They hit me up because they finally see the announcement, like, fuck! Yeah. It's like, what, you aren't living every day online for every announcement that we make out of the billions of fucking updates that happen? It was good. The show was dope.
I'm a mean her.
Balloon Mind State by De La Soul, which I think is such a masterful record as far as the content, the production style, just so many things about it are really special. But I mean, I can't pick a favorite because it's Paul's Boutique that I think is masterful as well. And incredibly mature for the era when it came out. It just broke a lot of concessions and did something incredibly special that helped mold at least the kind of things that I made further on. Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. The Public Enemy record was instrumental in shaping my idea of what hip hop can do and should do. Man, all those, so many records from back then that I hold in high regard.
Sage Francis, personal journalist, 1960.
I don't do it. I don't even do it. I don't even listen. I sit down, I read a book. I've been reading Confederacy of Dunces. That's a book that I've been reading. I think I've been on this silent protest against music in general. I can't stay deaf and blind to what's happening in hip hop, but I really focus on my circle of people who inspire me, and because there's a lot of stuff, there's so much stuff out there now, it's just so saturated, and the popular hip hop just does not do it for me. I can't really make excuses for it. I don't like it. That offends some people because they're like, oh, you're old and you're out of touch, but I'm like, I know what I like, and that shit does not inspire me. B. Dolan inspires me. His record, Kill the Wolf, fucking blows my mind. So I put it out on Strange Famous Records. That's, you know, if anyone comes to me with a record that really like hits me, let's talk business. Or I'll just let people know that it exists if you don't want to release it on an official level.
All them same old cliches, is that sage or Zolzan?
The Scribble Jam in 2000 was, I can't even explain how shitty that was. It was such a long battle. There was at least 99 entries. So there was a really long preliminary process that I was involved in. No one really knew me there. And I was performing under Zolzan, which was my alter ego at the time. So that was tricky. That was just a little tricky thing on my part. It was fun, too, to be able to play with that. The toughest opponent there, for me, Brother Ali, yeah, that was close.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Brother Ali was, I think, as hungry and nasty as I was. He just was on a roll. And I felt like I was struggling every round. I wasn't even that hip-hop heavy at the time. I think a year earlier is when I kind of gave up the battle thing. The nasty, like, vicious, go-for-the-throat battle shit. And then in 2000, I was collecting scraps of inspiration to do it. It wasn't like I was really going for it. So it was a surprise by the time I got to the final round. And by the time I got to the final round against Blueprint, most of the crowd had left by that point because they were so tired and sick of this shit. We were all just exhausted. So you don't see that on camera. You see us going at it, but really, like, we were fucking sick of that shit.
A healthy distrust.
This was the Wu-Tang's reunion, their first reunion in 10 years. And it was the whole Wu-Tang Clan. Because anyone who knows Wu-Tang Clan knows when Wu-Tang Clan's advertised, you might get Method Man and like some of the B team Wu, but it was never the full clan. So this was like, no, this is going to be the full Wu-Tang Clan. We're doing this in California 10 years out, you know, this was in 2004. And these promoters booked tons of openers. And like the crowd is there to see Wu-Tang Clan, right? And I knew that. And I was like, I could sense the crowd was getting restless. And by the time I got on stage, I had a lot of fans there. I have a big fan base in California. They were feeling me for maybe half the set, and then I started fucking around, and like I threw broccoli into the crowd. I started inciting shit, and then they threw shit back at me. And the promoters were like, "There's gonna be a riot," and they had already felt like there was gonna be a riot that whole night. And like but I feel like that was a good reason to like let people vent. It worked out. Not that was like totally my plan at the time, but while it was happening, I was like, this feels right. This is what we all want. Let's fucking wild out. I'll be the bad guy. I know. I mean, I got a lot of things going on after this. It's okay. Yeah.
Just warning you.
I'm taking a trip down memory lane.
Then it goes a little something like this.
I'm back.
When something goes viral or there's a lot of chatter about some shit, I'll check it out. Okay. But again, the format and most of what I see it's about as interesting as a ping pong match. Not even. I really like ping pong. You know, like really good ping pong is better than one of those, like slam poetry battles on steroids.
It's Mother's Day. I bet you want it to stay. It was meant for you.
The Mother's Day rap, that probably happened in 88 or 89. Because it's the only reason I know that is because I used one of the De La Soul beats. That's right. And I looped that, a pause tape mix. Yeah. But I couldn't do one now for Mother's Day that is as authentic and sweet as that one. So I let it be.
Be extinct, disappear, float on, go away, be extinct, disappear.
Hip hop kind of hit mainstream consciousness in the mid 80s. There was the breakdancing fad. There was Sugar Hill Gang that hit in the late 70s. So it kind of was around, but I didn't know what it was. It wasn't big where I lived. I lived in a very, rock and roll town, heavy metal town. I remember there was this public service announcement on television that a girl was rapping about something like cigarettes or whatever. That was one moment where I pinpointed it, and I was like, this is what I like. Like, I like this stuff. What is this? And I asked my aunt. She didn't know, but she was like, you like this? And then my mom, they talked to my mom. She ended up getting me a Run DMC tape, who were big at the time. And when other people found out I liked hip-hop, they told me there was a radio station in Boston that played hip-hop 1 hour a week on Saturday nights. And that's how rare hip-hop was. Like, it was really tough to find. It's everywhere now. Go to the tape store once a week with my allowance. I would look through all the tapes and like look at the covers, and if it was a black dude with chains on, fair chance it was a hip hop record. Like sometimes I fucked up and bought some like bullshit R&B tape, but yeah, that's how I found a lot of stuff. Finding other people who rapped and rapping with them, and then college radio really was a big introduction to underground hip hop, stuff that wasn't Sugar Hill. Probably just releasing the Copper Gone record on my own record label, knowing I had got to the point where I could do that. I've built an infrastructure, because I push myself as an artist, whether people ever truly like flock to it or not. Like, I know what I do as an MC, as an artist, that others don't. And I'm proud of that. On the business side of things, to be able to like still push this relatively underground style and music and develop a business structure that allows others to release their music, that's been really big to me. I accomplished that. I didn't go to school for that. There was no template, like, here's how you do it. That's also why when people ask me how they're gonna do it, like, what advice would you give to, I'd be like, good luck. Good fucking luck. Because I have no idea if you have the will to do that.
You are really not all that dope. You are really not all that dope. No.
I have driven a lot through the last year and a half, and I listen to the radio, so I should be more familiar, but all I hear is Taylor Swift. Drake obviously is on Kanye. I haven't even heard too much of the new Kanye, so I don't know. Yeah, Big Sean was the one I heard a lot. That was like, I ain't fucking with you. I heard that about 10 billion times. That's how they get you, man. These fucking companies, the payola is supreme, because they will pay these radio stations to play an artist so many times a day or a week, and they just force it on the people, on the masses, and then you hear something enough times, you get to hear the nuances, and it becomes catchy automatically. You just are familiar with it. The more familiar you get with it, then it becomes a nostalgia thing where like it encapsulates a certain time of your life.
Conditioning.
Yeah, it is. It's conditioning.
South Africa! You like the country western? All right, good, all right. Fuck it, the rest of my set is gonna be a country western set. I dedicate this to every genre where the artists speak honestly, whether it helps or hurts their career. Hip hop has been hurt by people who think they have to speak a certain way, they have to talk about only certain things. I think one of the greatest things of any genre, any art form, is for you to just communicate truth. And I don't care how that comes out. I don't care what genre you use. This goes to the honest artists everywhere, worldwide.
Indicates how long we've been lost in space. I keep putting expressionless looks on my face, an awful waste of human skin who waits for autumn.
Growing older in hip hop and always feeling the need to like do something different to capture the youth's attention. Fuck all that. Yeah. What's weird is when I was a kid, I didn't need anyone to dummy down their shit or appeal to like this new style. Like everything was new. I'm trying to keep new in my own way, but never, ever, ever trend hop. Like the people who respect hip hop are gonna respect good hip hop. Right. It doesn't matter like what style you're coming with, but if you're there's fans of lyricists or fans of lyricism who love lyricists. I'm a lyricist. Like if you like lyrics, you're gonna dig the kind of shit that I do, most likely. I think it kind of bugged me though, because there is always that push, like, hey, you gotta cater to the youth somehow, like there's this new style that they're coming out with. Like, I mean, if it appeals to me and it works its way into my music, because I don't know, I listen to it and it feels natural, maybe that'll happen, but I don't know, man. Integrity is number one. And I do see others who trend hop, and it just is such a bad look.
My book of life, so choose your own adventure with a circular section. You can tell your friends I walked all over you, but you know that's not what these boots were made to do.
I don't care if they're perpetuating ignorance. I care if millions and millions and millions of dollars is being used to perpetuate ignorance. I feel like an artist or an MC should rap however they want about whatever they want. I listened to really ignorant shit when I was a kid. Ghetto Boys was fucking ignorant. NWA was fucking ignorant. Ice-T said a lot of ignorant shit, though I think he made up for it in a lot of different ways. But it was like, sometimes the ignorance is the lure, and that's good. I feel like hip-hop lends itself to that, but it also lends itself to the intelligent shit. It lends itself to the socially conscious shit. It lends itself to the sexual. There's so much stuff that you can do. Every time a media outlet feigns disappointment in hip hop by saying, they're not doing this or they're not doing, like hip hop is too much this, it drives me nuts, because every time they give an example of what hip hop could be doing, I know people who do that style of hip hop. They just never gave them attention.
I talk a lot of shit, but I can back it all the fuck up. I talk about it really, but I'm still the illest, still the baddest.
I couldn't offer any advice to someone who's thinking of starting a label these days, because I don't really know what a label's purpose will be in a few years. So much has changed in the industry. I'm not sure if physical distribution is even going to be an option for indie labels in 5 years. Hopefully it is, because I love that. And we'll always make physical product available when we can. People know where to get it. They come to us, or we sell it at shows. But if you're an indie label and you're trying to put out records it's probably just going to be digital based for the most part. And a lot of artists, if they have the tenacity and the wherewithal, they'll be able to put that out on their own. My whole career, ever since I started doing this and selling stuff hand to hand to fans, making shit by hand, I live off of that. And I know that they're buying the music because of me, because of my music, because of what I'm saying and how I'm doing it. And they want to support me. I mean, labels are now doing these 360 deals where you're not only getting a portion of the artist's record sales, but you're getting a portion of their show sales, ticket sales, merch sales, and all that. And I never would do that. Like, I mean, if I did that, that means I would have to dedicate so much of my time to this artist that I know I deserved it. Yeah, I freestyle. Freestyling is fun in the right environment. And really the only time I find myself freestyling is when I'm driving with a friend or at a show where I forget the words to a song. I'm like, cool, now I get to like rap whatever I want over the beat. It's very rare that happens, but that is when some of the funnest shit happens, like freestyle wise. It's not like it used to be back in the day where freestyling was this communal event where people would rally in a circle and go at it like before or after a show or during a show. That was like, I honestly feel like video cameras killed that because people felt more free to say whatever and do whatever until people could take out iPhones and put you online forever. So like this thing you're saying in the moment is marked forever, and your reputation can be marked forever, and people they clam up. Like they know, damn, I don't want this to be my forever moment. I'm just not going to do it, Video camera is kind of fucked with a lot of things. And people don't know why I ask them not to film at my shows, but it's for that same reason. Not because I'm going to freestyle, but sometimes there are paths I go into. There's some directions I take that I just don't want it. I don't want to be thinking, okay, this is being documented forever. I want to be in the moment. And I can't be there when everyone's just standing there like this with their phones. It doesn't feel right. It feels shitty. It feels fraudulent. And I can never explain that to people. They get very upset. I paid. I'm gonna record if I want. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I won't do what I was gonna do then. Fuck you.